I play with my boys, it's like I know I'm better than them or whatever else, and it's not really a competitive match. But I can know I'm better than one of my professional athlete friends, but I know for sure, I gotta kick his ass.
Yeah, right.
They don't
it can't just be right.
I don't care if it's just bragging rights. It ain't got to be money exchange, but just when I leave here, Dex gonna go home. Like,
so that's how you felt when we played Wynn? Now I really know how he felt, right? We just played Wynn, and I know how he felt when we were playing. That you know what? I respect it though.
I'll tell you, I'd be so competitive, people don't even know. It'd be like, oh no, we just out here chilling. Yo, you chilling.
Yeah, you want to win.
Yeah,
that's how I found out with Devontae. We played yesterday, and he came in. He was like, "Hey, I won." I was like, bro, I didn't even know you was keeping my score too. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I love that. I love that aspect of it too. Like, you really can figure out who. Like, don't pencil with me. Like, we're gonna see like you the competitors. You want to see the competitors. Like, hey, these dudes are really keeping score. Hey, would you?
Yeah.
Every time you hear that on the third hole, you hear that. Hey, would you get on that hole? So you okay?
Yeah,
okay. I thought we was just playing a friendly game. This is friendly fire now.
Say no more. Right. I got you. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Par 3 podcast. I'm one of your co-hosts, JR Smith. This is to my right, Stephen Malbon. On my far right, Ben Baller. We have two very special guests today. One is a MLB champ, World Series champ, World MLB All-Star, one of my long time friends I first started playing golf with, Mr. Dexter Fowler.
Hey, and neighbor.
Yeah. What's up, Dex? What's up?
What's going on, fellas? What's going on?
That is one of our guests, and our second guest needs very little introduction, Mr. Chad Mumm from Full Swing.
What's up, boys? What's up, Chad?
Let's go.
Happy to be here. Let's go.
We got a full house today.
Come on now.
This feels right.
This is going to be crazy.
This feels right. Who's leading off the first tee? Let's talk about it. You know what, Dex? Says I know the story, but how did you get into golf?
I got into golf, just by watching the game. My dad used to play when I was growing up. I was always playing baseball. I go out there and play with him, and loved it from then on. Like, he used to watch. I remember he used to sit on the couch and watch golf, right? And I'd be like, "Why are you watching golf?" And you know what I do all the time? Watch golf. I love the game. I got the bug. I got a simulator at the house. I got Full Swing simulator at the house. So, and I'm on there all the time, just trying to get better. I need to get lessons though.
Bro, I fell asleep, even here in the hotel with the Golf Channel on the background, just so I could have the atmosphere. You know what I mean? The ambiance.
Absolutely.
While the putters on the edge of the bed, and there's like a little putting cup and all that. Yeah, man. And we know
swinging clubs in the living room, like, oh, I think I got it now. I think I got it. But you'll never get it. I'll never get that game. So
I hear that.
Speaking of golf TV, Chad Mumm is the executive producer of Full Swing on Netflix and gave the world a different insight into the tour.
It was crazy.
Watched all 7 episodes the first day. Wouldn't stop.
Thank you. What about the eighth episode? You missed that one?
No, I'm saying watch them.
I'm kidding.
How'd you get into golf?
So kind of same. Like, I was a military brat growing up. My dad played golf and my grandpa played golf. He was stationed with the RAF over in Scotland, and they used to play against the Royal and Ancient Club would play the Officers Club from the Air Force Base, or the Royal Air Force Base out there. So he's played golf his whole life. He learned how to play on St. Andrews. And I remember being like 6 years old, right next to an Air Force Base. And the thing they say about Air Force Bases, the first thing that goes in is the runway. Then they put the golf course in.
Yeah.
So that's the right service to be in if you like golf. And it was like I'd move around a lot as a kid, and golf was the only thing that was kind of consistent. And I could go to a golf course and feel the vibes. It was the same thing. There's always the same people grinding out on the range. Didn't matter if it was in Nevada or Florida or Alabama or Georgia or California, wherever we were stationed. It was like golf was the kind of centerpiece. So yeah, I started with my dad, and then my grandpa, I remember he sawed off a bunch of clubs. He was an amateur club builder, my grandfather was. So when I would go and visit, I just remember that smell of like mineral spirits in his garage, because he'd be like cutting down shafts for his buddies and putting re-grip and stuff. And he sawed off a bunch of sloshing irons for me when I was like 7, and I was hooked, man. I still remember the first time I hit the center of the face. It was a 5-iron. And I was 7 years old, and I just will never forget the feeling, when you just make that contact, and then you're chasing that dragon the rest of your life.
Right, absolutely.
Forever.
How about the Persimmon driver? You know what I mean? Because I never knew. I mean, I remember seeing him when I was a kid, and I'm 50, right? But like when someone said hit it in the middle of the screws, and I was like, screws? What the fuck? What screws?
Exactly.
Where? And then someone brought up a refinished brand new Persimmon driver, and I really for sure saw the screws, and I was like, wow, it's crazy.
No, we got it easy, by the way. Like not having to hit those things. God, I tried one like a couple years ago, and like I'm a pretty decent player, and I mean, we're spoiled with what we got now.
Yeah, you could bunt a driver nowadays and get it 220, 230.
Totally.
Back then, those dudes were like swinging their backs out.
Oh my God, with steel shaft, It's
man.
like
The driver was a blade.
Right.
Exactly. If you don't hit it in the sweet spot, you cook.
100%. I want to say thank you for Full Swing for me personally, because my girlfriend does not understand where my love and passion for the game is. And when she watched that, she really put into perspective. She doesn't understand why I watch golf, why I'm at the course for 5 hours. Don't understand it at all. But when she seen that, she was like, oh, I get it. Like, oh, this makes sense. Hey, babe, you mind if I follow Rory McIlroy? I'm like, what? Yes, please. Follow him, follow his wife, follow everybody else on tour. Just let me go play golf.
there you go.
So I appreciate that.
No, thank you. It's been so cool to hear that from people. Like, that the show wasn't just a mission to get my wife to like golf, but that was a nice like side effect of it.
Right.
And I think with the show like Full Swing, you can humanize these guys, and because like the goal of anything, we kind of think of it as like a dude soap opera. Like that's what the show is. You build this community of players. They're all elite, and you guys have walked around like a pro driving range. You walk around every single player. You're like, that's the best player in the world. They're just everybody's hitting lasers. And then you just see the difference of like what makes the top 10 player versus 100 player. And it's just like the tiny little margin for error. But then you see this amazing stuff on the golf course. And the way you make that pay off is you turn them into humans off the golf course.
Right.
And we were really lucky that the guys, they got it. They really leaned in. They'd watched like Drive to Survive. So they were sort of like, oh, this is cool. That show's awesome. We want to do that for our sport. And but they leaned in. And we told all of them when they signed up, it's like, look, the more you lean into this, the more you're going to get out of it. And they really they truly did. And we got more access. I mean, we spent weeks with players opening up the doors to us. And it pays off because all of a sudden, now their wife's a character. You see what they're all going through together. And a lot of times an athlete, you may not be as good at describing what it's like.
Right.
That's what people close to you can come in and describe it. So we always try to find our main characters, but like who are those supporting people that are close to them that can kind of vocalize it in a different way? Because it's a lonely individual sport, as you know. But you got to have your network and support group.
Well, it's like in anything. Like we all play professional sports, right? And we're sitting there and watching the show. Like you said, it humanizes us. Like so, a young kid watches me play baseball, watches you play basketball. We're in there and they're like, these dudes are like robots. I remember growing up watching professional athletes. I was like, I'm thinking that they're just like, and you don't think of the mental side, the off the course or off the field type stuff that you have to deal with.
Totally.
But let me give you a whole different perspective and give you your flowers even deeper. I went to my first car show in '81 in Newport Beach. I went to Concours d'Elegance. Now it's here at the Wynn. And I participated. I have a Senna. There's only a couple hundred in the world. $1 million car, brought it here, boom. I've been part of the car community forever. I've been a car connoisseur for decades. I've been a big part of the car community in the world. I had a Lamborghini partnership, all this stuff. Drive to Survive. I can't even put it in the same continent as how much Full Swing was better than that. And I've only been around golf for less than 2 years. You know what I mean? Playing for barely over a year. And I'm talking about, this is what I did almost all my life. That's how much better Full Swing was. So you can't even put those two together. Full Swing was so goddamn good.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah, it was really good.
No, thank you. And by the way, we're in the middle of making season 2 right now. And I thought we were going to have an epic year anyway, because the stories,
God.
I mean, Brooks coming back. You saw Brooks last year in the show. If you guys watched the show,
for sure.
It's like Brooks was at his low point. And like so here's a quick story for you. So when we start making the show like this, we don't do the first interviews on camera because, y'all are pro athletes. It's like you're used to coming off the field or off the court. There's a mic on your, right in your face. There's cameras, there's lights. You kind of get into that. Like you got your canned things, and you're just talking about what it felt like. So when we start with the players, we just do audio only. We tell them to come in street clothes. Don't wear your golf outfit. And we just sit down like this and we just rap. And we're not asking them about what they hit on number 17. We're like, What's important to you? You know, what relationships matter? Like, what is the thing? And so we spend like an hour and a half just kind of talking with them. And then they kind of tell us their story. And then the act of making the show is basically just telling them back over the year what they said was important to them over the year. And that ended up being like 80% of the show was what we got from that first interview. And then, you know, later in the year, we go back and we put them on camera, but they're so much more relaxed. But so we did the first set of interviews at Tiger's event, the Hero World Challenge. This was this was in the fall before the last season started. And we're in this recording studio down there at Abaco. There's like a recording studio. They do like Drake albums there. It was sick. And so we think like, hey, we're Netflix. We got to like first impression on these guys. We can't just be in like a tent, you know?
Right.
So we bring them through and they all come in, they got their entourage, their agents there, you know, whatever. They're like looking over our shoulders, doing these first interviews. Everyone's a little nervous because, you know, they don't have a say in how that gets edited. You know, they're just like trusting us. And everybody came with all their guys. Brooks Koepka shows up, the only person who didn't come with an entourage. He rolled up by himself, walked in, sat down, put the mic on, and just started spitting. He's like, I'm lost. He's like, you know, people think I don't care. People think I don't practice. He's like, man, I'm laying in bed like last week. My fiance's right next to me. I wake up at 2 a.m. I'm like making grips with my hands, just thinking, okay, well, maybe if I make my thumb a little shorter, just like you were, like all of us would do, you know?
Right.
He's going to bed with his putter next to his bed, putting at cups in the hotel.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't think about anything else. Like, and I'm afraid that I was here and now I've been going up and now I'm going down. And I don't know if I'm ever going to be back up again.
Damn.
And just from the first second, we were like, that was not what I expected out of this guy. And you know, and I'm an obsessive golfer. Like I played golf my whole life. I've been working on this show. It took me 9 years to put it together and convince everybody and actually get it like sold to Netflix, get it made. They always say it's like, you know, 9 years to be an overnight success, but like it really, you put the work in.
Right.
And I thought I knew all these guys. And just in like 5 seconds, Brooks was just like, holy shit, he blew me away. And then to have that, to see an athlete, you guys have been around athletes, like it's hard. But to be that vulnerable, like when you are that much of an alpha,
Right.
to give us that, and then to come back like a year later and
my
win the
God.
fucking PGA championship, like what a story.
And almost winning the Masters,
And almost
though,
wins the
too.
Masters, yeah. It's crazy. So yeah, so we've been filming the whole year. We've got amazing stuff, and we thought we had a great season already. I mean, there's some great new characters. We brought back most of the guys from last season, so you're gonna kind of throw them right in the action. Like season 2 will start off basically like right after season 1 drops. Like Rory's, you know, on top of the world, and we're dropping you right back in. And then like 2 weeks ago, the world of golf just
That's crazy.
Lord,
Dude.
live.
dude, it was insane. I got a text that was like, I'm in LA, so it was like
We
what
gotta
is-
film this.
7 in the morning.
the,
No,
I saw the tweet where it says,
Yeah, we were filming.
we're filming. And I was like, oh, shit.
yeah, it was crazy. We don't film. We filmed like 300 days last year, kind of all together, but we're not filming every day. And we're lucky that we happened to be at home with the player that day, and he's like playing with his kids. Like if we do that kind of shit in the show. And he sees his phone ringing and ringing and ringing. It's his agent. And he doesn't want to be like that dad who's like, I'm going to go run to my phone. And then our producers start getting texts from like us being like, yo,
Sneak peek, what player?
Meg,
I know you want to know.
I know you want to know. You're gonna have to
I want
wait.
to see.
But we tell our producer, like, tell him to answer. And so they just hit record. And then we get to see in real time, like him being like, what the fuck is going on? Betrayal, you know, like the feeling of like, oh my God, now the world's changed again. So we're filming that at home. And then we had one of our junior producers who's been like begging us to do his own thing. You know, he's like, give me a story to make. So we were like, okay, here's a no-brainer. There's a player who just turned pro, and we're like, give this kid, who's really talented young producer, but it's his first time like actually producing something for us. And he's up in Toronto at the RBC, and he's doing a story about a player who just turned pro, and it's like their first day on the tour. So it's like a simple story. Just ride in with him, register, maybe he parks in the wrong spot. He doesn't know where to go. It's cute.
Right.
We may use it, we may not. Who knows what's going to happen?
Right.
And in the middle of registration, all of a sudden people are like running through the hallways, and this kid's like, what do I do? You know, they go into the locker room and like the whole world's on fire. And he calls me and he's like, what do I do? I was like, just don't fucking cut. Just keep filming.
Right.
Keep filming. So yeah, you know, sometimes you get good breaks in the universe, and we were there in the middle of it. And, you know, and still it's like nobody knows anything. Nobody knew anything, and we're just rolling. So yeah, it's going to be epic for sure.
So y'all are just like flies on the wall. Like,
Yeah.
hey, just live your life, go do what you need to do, and we'll capture.
Yeah, we say to everybody, it's like, we're not making the Kardashians here, you know, like
Right.
you could go to the grocery store. That's interesting to us. Like just whatever you're doing already, you're going to go to your kid's baseball game. Like we'll come along, you know, everybody embraced it. That's the cool part. And they do it with like, they didn't know what it was going to turn into, you know, it was awesome. And so the trust they put in us was, I got to give all the players and so much credit. I mean, they were like, they had no control over how it was going to come out, and they just gave us everything. And I'm so proud that you guys like it, and I'm so pumped that we get to do it again, and it's gonna be fun.
No, for sure. Dexter JR. So how would you say you related? Or who do you relate to the most? As far as pro athletes on full swing.
I would be probably like a Jordan Spieth or JT. Those are my boys too. So like JT is one of my best friends. Like that's why I like him, because he's such, like, we're the same. He's super competitive. Like he has like a fire under his ass. Like he always wants to win. He always wants to. I don't care if we're playing pool. I don't care if he always on the course. Like, hey, let's bet. Come on, man. Like, let's push each other. Let's push each other.
Oh, yeah, he's like that?
Yo, all the time with anything.
No,
Hey, let's go
what I'm
shoot free
saying
throws.
is, betting?
Yeah, he bets.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he bets. He does it.
What about you, JR? Like, who you feel like you related to the most, as far as...
Me, probably like a Brooks and DJ, like just being, like raw athletes. I feel like those are guys who would pick up, could pick up a baseball bat, could pick up, could throw a football, could just, could dunk or something like that. It's not just predicated around their golf swing. I feel like a JT and, Jordan, those, for me, not to knock Dex, obviously. They just,
I know, right?
They're more
You just
country.
shitted on me. It's fine.
Nah, not to knock Dex, my dog, but to me, they're like more child prodigies. Like they were destined to be golf pros. And you see guys like with Brooks or DJ, it's just like, damn, he could have been a numerous amount of whichever. And
Yeah.
for me, a lot of it is personality too. We was just talking about Brooks, and so many people don't think he cares or gives a shit. Like, no, I give a shit. I care a lot. I'm just not going to let you know that I care a lot, so you can just presume I'm emotional and it affects my day and it goes X, Y, and Z. I don't let it go to that far. Like I'm letting my emotions let you see what it's doing to me. And I feel like Brooks and DJ are a lot like that, especially more DJ. DJ's like, man, I don't give a shit what y'all say. I'm just, this is what I do.
I'm going to do what I do.
You know what I'm saying? This is what it is. And I think with Brooks, especially with me later on my career, is like, damn, I almost feel like I got to show people I give a shit. I like they got to see that I give a damn, because I'm working way too hard to not show that effort or desire of the game.
But at that point, did that feel forced? Like you feel like if I have to, you feel like you have to do something? Because I was the same way. Like everybody's like, oh, Dex don't work. Dex don't work. I work on my own. Like I work behind the scenes, right?
Yeah, you ain't got to tell nobody.
But if I'm saying, if you got to put it out there, like, and then it feels kind of forced. Like I gotta be here. I gotta show up early to show y'all that I'm doing stuff, even though I've already done all this before I got to wherever I went. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I understand that point, and to that point, like I was one of the first guys who really started posting like their basketball workouts in the summertime, doing one-on-one drills, showing people certain moves or whatever. And then you look 2-3 years later, it's like if you're not posting it, if you're not doing it, it's not happening. So then I fell into a place to where I wasn't posting as much as like, oh, he doesn't work out. Oh, he's not in the gym.
He stopped working out.
He stopped working out.
Yeah.
So now it's like, oh, damn, now I got to do this just to show people that I'm still active or still into it as quote unquote as much as everybody else.
Right.
Hey, that. Dex, let me ask you a question, man. I didn't know you knew Justin Thomas like that. And by the way, shout out to XL. He's
I'm XL.
Okay, it's all family.
Yeah, right.
What's it like playing with JT, like on the course?
He makes fun of me a lot.
Oh, that's messed up. No, seriously,
but for real, because I've seen him on the baseball field. And I said, hey, payback from way back. Like, and then I'm making fun of him.
But does he ever help you? Like you ever get some pointers from him?
Yeah, him. And actually Colin, I live out here, so Colin, we're at Summit together.
Yeah, the Summit, yeah.
Yeah, so Colin will actually go out. I play with Colin more than probably anybody.
Colin's the best, most helpful, like nicest person.
Oh my
in the world.
gosh, he'll sit on the cart. Like we'll take 2 carts. He's sitting on his cart. He'll sit there with his legs crossed and be like, hey, drop a ball. Like, or I'll ask him like, hey, how do I hit this shot? And he'll be like, hey, just do this, X, Y, and Z. And he'll sit there literally, legs crossed and hanging out the cart just like this. And he's like, I've never had lessons, but I play with JTs and Collins, and they're like, hey, do this, do that. And then I start learning. like that. So
Colin's a cool cat though, isn't he?
Awesome.
Nicest guy in the world.
Totally.
And
him and Kurt Kitayama are out there
yeah,
with us.
I got a great relationship with Colin. And the fucked up part about it, we're having breakfast one morning. And I didn't know this was a rude thing to ask. And his wife, she played, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, so Kat played. I didn't know that it was rude to ask somebody what their handicap was when like you're a pro or something. I didn't know. I was like, oh, so Kat. I was like, what's your handicap? What's your index? And Colin was like about to eat his bagel and he goes, hey, just so you know. And it was weird, you know what I mean? Anytime someone younger than me tried to, but regardless, I'm learning, I didn't know. Right. And he's like, you don't ask anybody what the index is. It's kind of rude, we're pros. You just say pro, whatever. And I didn't know she was, like that. And it was funny, because he wasn't mad or nothing. He was just correcting me, just kind of maybe also defending his wife, you know what I'm saying? Like, right. Oh, wait, that's all you are, plus 17? That's it? You only shoot 55? No, but, he's just such a great guy.
He is.
When I was really nervous about playing the Farmers Pro-Am, I was like, hey, Colin, is there any way you can be paired up with me? He's like, nah, I'm playing with the vice president of Farmers, man. He's like, why are you so nervous? I'm like, I'm playing with John Rahm, bro. He's my partner. He's like, oh, John's the best, Bob. And he just lost to Rahm. You know what I'm saying? In Hawaii. Yeah. And he's like, well, that's great. He goes, you know what? Having nerves is good. He's giving me this great, long speech.
You didn't have COVID, see?
No, I did. The best part about it was I screenshotted old test, a positive test from like a year and a half before.
No, you did?
I had to have it just because I was so fucking
nervous.
They
got stamps on those now. Now you can see the date.
I don't know, man. I just didn't want to play. I was scared, man.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I love that your answer was like, not like, oh yeah, I made like an 8-foot putt. You're like, yeah, I made my first ever eagle that was actually an albatross, like from 225 in front of John Rahm. Like that's sick.
Yeah, that was dope. That was cool.
Awesome.
Plus, again, I didn't know how to stroke.
Right, there you go.
And I was so nervous, I didn't bring my driver because the rough was so thick, you know what I'm saying? I saw Justin Thomas in the rough and then he hit it 7 feet. I was like, fuck, right back into the rough. And then Rahm's caddy was like, this is golf, bro. That shit's going to happen. And I was like, not with Justin Thomas, bro. What the fuck you mean? I think he would, I just expect them all to hit it, hole out, just 2 foot to the pin. I don't know. It was intimidating because you're touching the field now and you're seeing the people, and especially when the hole next to you, or if you catch up with somebody, even like Bo Hostler.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay, I never heard of this dude before. God damn, man. He almost aced that, so it was a weird thing to do it. That's all. We'd like to give a big shout out to our sponsor, Long Drink, a Finnish drink.
And it definitely makes your drives go longer.
You can get yours today at www.longdrink.com.
Super refreshing.
I think it's like what he was saying, the difference between like the top 10 and the other, 90. It's like it's a very small difference, but it's like such a huge difference at the same time of like seeing people walk onto the driving range with the attitude like, I'm winning this fucking tournament. And then seeing other people like, I hope I can make the cut. Mm-hmm. And you can just see it on their face like,
I'm just here to make cuts and keep it pushing. Yeah.
And then other people like, I would hate to get second place.
Right.
Where 75% of them would love to get second place.
You can't teach that. You can't teach that.
You either got to be
you either got it or you don't. Right.
Yeah, they all go about it different ways. I mean, what actually the stat, we looked this up when we were pitching the show. It's like difference between a player who's like 125th and top 10 is 1 shot per round. Can you imagine that? Like,
are you fucking kidding me?
That's crazy.
Just like just one stroke, like you miss a putt, you could 5-footer, that guy makes you miss. That's the difference. And to be able to do it that consistently, it's crazy. It's crazy how tight the margins are and how much it's in your head. These guys can all athletically do the move, and just one of my favorite stories from the show is just doing Matt Fitzpatrick. And, he had probably the best shot of the year at the US Open when he hit it out of the bunker, with all the pressure in the world. And we were with him. People don't remember, but he was in the final group at Southern Hills at the PGA Championship. And he let us in. Like, we were there with him in the morning. He's like, he's going to get his first win. He's going to get a major. And he just didn't close. And it was a little bit like Ricky at the US Open. He played great and he just couldn't get it done. And he, we thought there's no way he's going to let us like come back at the US Open. He was like, no, come on. So we're there with them. They're waiting around. By the way, like trying to wait around, your tee time's at like 3 p.m, 4 o'clock. Like you literally sitting around the house all morning, trying not to think about it. And at some point, like they turn on the golf, they're kind of looking at the pins. They're like, okay, we can't watch this anymore. Like just try to distract yourself. And then you go and you do the thing. And we watched him just meticulously. I mean, he charts every single shot he's hit since he was like 13,
That's
writes
crazy.
it in a book, including practice rounds, like whatever. And he's just like, my thing is, I know I may not have the physical talent of like a DJ who we paired him with in that episode, but he's like, I'm going to outwork him and I'm going to get better every day. And that actually reminds me of another really great Arnold Palmer quote, which is, I was talking to Seth Waugh, who's the CEO of the PGA of America. It does like the PGA Championship and the Ryder Cup and all that. And he was telling me he met Arnold Palmer once at Latrobe before Arnold died. He was out at the driving range. And Arnold's like in his 80s. And of course he goes up and introduces himself. He's Mr. Palmer, and here's what I'm doing. And so Mr. Palmer's like, cool, nice to meet you. He's talking to him. He's like, hey, what are you working on? And he starts getting into it, just like we were talking about with Brooks. He's like, yeah, I'm just trying to get a little shallower, trying to do this thing. And he said he looked over at me. This is Seth talking. He said, Mr. Palmer said, listen, I know I may not be as good as I'll never be as good as I once was, but I'll sure as hell be better than I was yesterday. And I'm like, ain't that golf?
Didn't they make a song out of that?
Pretty much, yeah.
They should.
They really should.
Damn.
That's a hell of a quote right there.
That is. That's crazy.
Wow. Yo, Dex, man, what's the scouting report on your golf game? You play in Vegas this week?
Yeah, I live out here. I live out here in Vegas. So I played. I actually played the past 2 days. I played once at the Wynn, and I just came from playing golf at Summit. So my
How's the
scouting
Wynn
report,
looking?
I hadn't played.
Tough life.
It was, I shot low 80s.
Chad, how much has your life changed since Full Swing has come out?
Oh my God. Like if you had asked 14-year-old me like that this could be my job, it's crazy. I remember watching like Tiger Woods, getting up early to watch him play in Japan or the British Open. I was in Georgia when I was in high school, and my first ever job,
That's where I'm from.
Oh yeah?
Where you at?
Peachtree City.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm in East Cal, Marietta, then we moved to Alpharetta.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I graduated from Milton.
Yeah, I
amazing.
used to caddy at Atlanta National
Okay.
in Alpharetta.
My first job was at White Columns.
That's right.
Yeah, I was
yeah.
a cart tender. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
same.
Yeah.
That was-
See, hey, we all
that was
connected
it.
at some.
Yeah.
That's what I love about golf too.
Yeah.
Like everybody, like it doesn't matter who you are, age or whatever. You can connect anybody together. I'm trying to get my girls to play too. That's the hardest thing, to get the kids to play.
Totally.
Like
I got 2 kids. One plays constantly. The other doesn't play.
yeah. How'd you do it? How do you get them to? Or
I
is
think
just
the little one just wants to hang out with me more, and I used to give him chocolate, like let them get the cart girl and let him get candy and
Oh, that's
shit.
dope, yeah.
And I've never really pressed him, so he's doing drive, chip, putt
That's dope.
in a few days, and then he'll start middle school golf. But the other one, he's playing like in the metaverse. He's like a scientist,
Yeah.
game programming.
I love
Fortnite.
it. I love it.
Both my sons are on the golf team at school too now. My middle son was doing jiu-jitsu for like 3 years, and he was obsessed. I started making jewelry for Israel Adesanya, Max Holloway, people like that, UFC people. So they were coming by giving him private lessons and stuff, and Israel won the belt, the champ.
Right.
And then he just saw how much attention my oldest son was getting. So he's like, fuck that. He's like, Mom, I want to play golf with London. And so maybe Daddy spend more time with me. That's just bullshit because I give them all each love. But he started playing and he started to fall in love with it because he made a pretty far putt. I looked at him, I said, that's all it takes, man. And he was hooked.
Right.
So,
I love that.
That's so good. You always remember those, that first putt that goes in when it matters, that best shot,
100%.
so it makes it great. Yeah.
I don't bet. I don't do none of that. But like standing over a putt or, hitting balls. I'm playing Tahoe this year. So like that's going to give me that, get the juices flowing again. And or like standing over playing with your buddies. And it's like, pause. But playing over. And, hey, yo. No, but you're sitting there playing and it's just like, hey, this putt right here, like, is for bragging rights.
Yeah.
Like that right there, we going home talking.
Man, especially like for us, it's different when we playing with our boys. Like I play with my boys, it's like I know I'm better than them or whatever else, and it's not really a competitive match. But I can know I'm better than one of my professional athlete friends. But I know for sure, I gotta kick his ass.
Yeah, right.
They don't
It can't just be
I don't care if it's just bragging rights. It ain't got to be money exchange, but just when I leave here, Dex gonna go home. Like,
so that's how you felt when we played Wynn? When we played now I really know how he felt, right? We just played Wynn, and I know how he felt when we were playing. That I you know what? I respect it though.
I'll tell you, I'd be so competitive, people don't even know. It'd be like, oh no, we just out here chilling. Yo, you chilling.
Yeah, you want to win.
Yeah, for
that's
sure.
how I found out with Devontae. We played yesterday, and he came in. He was like, "Hey, I won." I was like, bro, I didn't even know you was keeping my score too. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I love that. I love that aspect of it too. Like, you really can figure out who. Like, don't pencil with me. Like, we're gonna see like you the competitors. You want to see the competitors. Like, hey, these dudes are really keeping score. Hey, would you?
Yeah,
every time you hear
hole.
that, on the third hole, you hear that. Hey, would you get on that hole? So you, okay.
Yeah,
okay. I thought we was just playing a friendly game. This is friendly fire now.
Say no more.
Right.
I got you. What about you, Chad? You got any special golf trips or anything planned?
You know, I just got back from St. Andrews. And so that was a couple, it was like 6 weeks ago. I went out there. I got invited. This is, you asked earlier about like how my life's changed. I got invited to go give a talk to the RNA Leadership Summit, which was crazy and awesome because the RNA, the USGA manages golf rules, in the US, but like the RNA does the whole world. So I get picked up, they fly me out and I get picked up at the airport and we get in this like van and there's a guy sitting next to me. He like runs the federation for like Nigeria golf. There's another guy from like Costa Rica golf. There's like the Thailand golf federation leader, Italy. Like we're all in the car.
That's crazy.
And these are like the heads of golf for the country. And I'm like, yo, how many golfers y'all got? And he's like, 100,000. The other guy's, oh, we got 800,000. It's like, oh no, we got 50,000. You know how many we got in the US? 44 million.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy.
What? It's crazy.
That's
That's 44
crazy.
million golfers. 11 million started in the last 4 years. It's like this culture, like golf's become this lifestyle. So anyway, but asking about the golf, so I got to play the old course for the first time. So I played like Kingsbarns, played Carnoustie, and then I played the old course. It was like, because I was given a talk, so I got up on stage, I talked about full swing and storytelling and how we do it and trying to reach new audiences for the game. And I give a ton of credit for the RNA. I mean, they're literally called the Royal and Ancient Society. But they're like, how do we reach new people? How do we reach more women? How do we make this game seem fun and cool and not like inaccessible? And so anyway, so I did this talk and the kind of bribery was like, yo, you get to play the old course. And I was like, hell yeah.
Was it as advertised?
Bro, so here's
Or
the
better?
thing. Here's the thing. I've played a lot of great golf courses and I played a lot more since I started making this show. I played basically everywhere. The old course exceeded my expectations more than any course I've ever played.
Wow.
Cypress, Peachtree, all
it's a
these
good one.
iconic places I've been wanting to go. Those were all like, I had high expectations and it like met them.
You play Augusta?
I have not played Augusta yet. So we'll
Was
see.
the wind behind you on the front or the back?
It was behind on the front. And
It
so
was
you're,
like, this is easy.
I was like,
this
yo,
is
you're just
easy.
roasting, like hitting 7 irons, like
Yeah.
400 yards.
You make that turn.
Oh my God. So I birdied the road hole the first time ever playing it, but it was like the most junk birdie of all time. So I get on the tee and I'm like, all right, it's my first time ever on the road hole. This is awesome. So I got to film it. So I have, one of the other guys in the group film me and I was playing pretty well. I was like 2 over at the time. So I'm like, I'm going to bring this thing home.
Oh, so you can play.
I can play. I can play.
I love it.
And I fucking eject this drive so far right. And I'm like, fuck, out of bounds. It hits the roof of the hotel.
Oh, wow.
Bounces back into the fairway. So now I've got like 230 or something. So I go up there and I hit like the best little stinger 4-iron ever, right where the caddy said it, rolls up right next to the flag and then just trickles off onto the road. So now I've got from the road to a pin sitting up high. And I'm like, I'm on the road, film it. So the guy's filming me. And I was standing there last year, we filmed the British Open. We were there at St. Andrews and I watched all these players, like they don't chip that shot, they putt it. Even though there's kind of thick rough, they just kind of pop it in there and it just pops up. So I'm like, I watched like Victor Hovland hit this shot. Like I'm just going to putt it. The caddy gives me my wedge. I'm like, nah, dog, I got this. So I'm putting it. So I put it off the road, off the concrete. That shit goes up the hill, goes right, breaks left, bang, in the hole. On camera, birdie.
No big deal.
I was like, yo, 1 under on the road hole.
You should be on full swing.
I mean,
What hole is that like 7-foot bunker? That concrete wall? What hole is that?
That's the one.
Yeah, well, that's the road hole 17. Yeah, is the
Right.
That's
road
the one
hole
that's kind of
bunker.
cut off.
Where
right?
people are literally hitting it backwards.
You got to hit it
instead.
backwards.
Yeah.
And then the hole before that, there's the Elysian Fields. Like there's the par, and then there's the Principal's Nose bunker, which is like a really insane bunker. And then there's the Hell bunker. That's the big one.
How
on
many
the par
greens
5.
of rage do you hit?
Not many.
Really?
But like I probably hit the green.
That's what I'm saying.
And then it just rolls off the
Yeah,
back.
you can get it on the green and it's not going to stay. It'll roll off the back or it'll come back off the front.
Yeah.
It was. I played it as well. Same thing. Wind behind me all the way on the front. It was like driving par 4s and hitting like
This
hitting
shit's
like
easy.
hitting like 5-iron off the tee, driving par 4s with 5 irons, and then coming back in. I'm hitting like driver like 205.
Wow.
Puring it.
Did you like it?
Yeah, loved it.
It was
Sun
like
came out when I was walking over the bridge.
oh, so
It's
good.
just like, this is perfect.
I've never really like had a round where I finish and then like immediately was like, I just literally want to walk over to
Yeah.
the first tee and do this again. because having seen it now, like it's so
now
many
I gotta
blind
go play
shots.
this. I gotta go play this.
Right.
And it bounces
That's where I'm
like
at.
you get such crazy bounces too. You'd be like, okay, I see the fairway, and the guy's like, cool, yeah, you see that? I want you 80 yards left of that.
Oh shit.
And you're like, oh shit, I never see that stuff. And you got to land things short, like Stephen was saying. Like on one of the par fives on the front, I had I hit driver 7-iron. I hit it like 100 yards over the green. I had like a full wedge backwards, like I would almost like I laid up,
That's
like on a par
crazy.
5 to try and get it close to the front of the green. It's unlike anything else, like playing on the moon. It's awesome.
When are we getting full swing to cover the par 3 podcast? Could you send Rory or one of the guys through and get a little action over there
We'll
for
work
us?
on that.
How do we
We'll
get par 3 on? Season 2, season 3.
Get one of those guys on there. We got to get you guys out there playing with them. And, like here's the thing. Honestly, if they're going to do it, we'll bring the cameras. It's fine by me. It's not
I
much
like
to
it.
it. Just bring them on and I'll bring the cameras.
I want to make an appearance too.
Let's go, Dex.
Let's go.
Come on.
I'm on it.
Let's go.
Dex will be back. Thank you all.
need
See you
both you
next
guys.
week.
Awesome.